Recording on both. Right. Hey everybody, welcome to How Do I Know You with your hosts Mark and Dwayne.
What up?
And today's topic is...
Today's topic is something that we talked about kind of previously in a couple podcasts ago, but we kind of alluded to the whole streaming wars thing, and we had made mention that it was sort of like what we grew up in, which was the console wars, and now it seems to be an all-out assault. Disney Plus has been releasing press release after press release. If it's not their price, they're talking about their content and everything like that. And Netflix looks like it's in a whole lot of trouble. So we're going to dabble into the whole Disney versus Netflix thing. And also we're going to try to give you guys some ideas into the whole content game today and what all the stuff that if you guys are creators or creatives, as the kids like to call it today, you guys like making something that's yours, some sort of content, whether it's music, videos, fucking drawings, whatever. All that content that you make and that you technically own because you made it, at least to start, that all means something and it's worth something. Whether it be worth fucking $1 when you make it, up until the point where somehow someone finds it and wants to use it, it's worth even shitloads more after it becomes popular. So we're going to get into all that. But first, let's talk about Mark.
What about me?
Nah, you want to see what happened? What the fuck? I didn't even...
I got so paranoid.
This wasn't in pre-production.
This wasn't in the meeting.
Just imagine, we found your child.
Oh, fuck, man. I've been running
Maury pops up. Mark Martinez, and the story of little Devontae Garcia Martinez.
Devontae. I did not name him.
What the fuck? I swear I have not had sex with any black women.
I really want to, though.
What's going on? How is this mine? No, let's, there's an article from thestreet.com that's been outlining the whole Netflix versus Disney war that's raging, and it's a lot of interesting facts in here that are, and also projections that are coming out that have been quite startling for people who I won't even say are like, I think we're all pretty much Netflix users or like subscribers at this point, because I don't see how you can actually like be a content fan or a fan of like just regular TV today without having a Netflix service or subscription. Or if you're like,
if you don't even have one, then you have someone's password.
Yeah, you have someone's password.
Someone's password.
Shout out to my older sister. I'm not paying for Netflix. The fuck. But no. Side note: I was the first person in my family who was paying for Netflix because I thought it was useful. Way back when
with the DVDs?
No, this was like a little bit after the DVDs. This is like.
When it was like either choose DVDs or choose streaming.
Yeah, I chose streaming and everything, and it was worth it. But so I'm not gonna read the whole article because it's pretty long. But credit to thestreet.com. This is a really good article for all you people who want to read it after. It's thestreet.com. You'll find the article, but they outline a lot of interesting projections and facts currently. So I'll start from here. It says, Disney is guiding analysts and investors that its original content investment is going to ramp up from $1 billion in the fiscal year 2020 to mid-$2 billion in 2024.
Damn.
Netflix, on the other hand, spent roughly $12 billion on content in 2018 and is expected to spend $15 billion in 2019. Let's stop right there. Holy shit.
So Disney's just gonna make money and Netflix is just spending it? Is that what they're saying?
Pretty much. If you get basic supply and demand and things like that, Disney only happened to spend $1 billion on original content, which for you people who are like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Basically, original content is anything that Disney's gonna create that's gonna be put on that streaming platform. So like, you know how Netflix has Orange is the New Black, Ozark, shows like that. They have like what was that movie that fucking
Stranger Things. Oh,
no,
movies.
Stranger Things. They had that Bright movie. They had
That Roma movie that was supposed to win a bunch of awards.
I
never saw it either.
The Sandra Bullock Bird movie. What was that shit called? Bird Talk or something.
Yeah.
Bird. For all you
Can't
bird
see me.
bitches out there. Nah, but that's all original content. 'Cause that's all content that Netflix had writers create, produce, direct, all that cool stuff. It's all Netflix, right? They own all that stuff. So in 2018 alone, they spent $12 billion on original content. It goes up to $3 billion this year, or at least it's projected to go up to $15 billion in 2019.
And Netflix just raised their price too on their subscription.
Right. So it says that Netflix. Let's start here. It says Netflix, once regarded as the low-price streaming platform, is now priced at $13 per month for the standard plan. That's not including any bells and whistles. That's the standard. You have the streaming service. So
2 screens, I believe.
the standard plan is $13, and it's the most popular. Disney Plus is going to be launched at $6.99 per month. $7.
For all the Disney shit. And like you know they do that thing, right, with their movies. They circulate it and then keep it in vaults or whatever, so that every time it's released they could always keep it at the same expensive price and it never goes down in value. So getting this whole $7 a month thing, you get access to all those classic movies you love for cheap.
So let's be realist. I'm gonna refer back to this article probably a little later, but let's be realist. For all you people who like math, which probably is not a lot of you,
Hate it.
let's just do basic math. If I have if I have $20 billion, I use 15 of that 20 billion for something, or for some sort of service or some sort of let's say I buy fucking 20 Lamborghinis, right? They all equal up to $15 million, which is not, so that's not even close, but whatever, right? We're doing hypotheticals here. So I buy 20 Lamborghinis. I just spent $15 billion on those 20 Lamborghinis. Meanwhile, Mark has $15 billion as well, but he only spent $1 billion on a bunch of like Lexuses, right? Of course, I have, at least from the start, from the name, I have more like value and cachet because I have a whole bunch of Lamborghinis, right? So they all look fast, look cool, and everything like that. But Mark has gone the economical route about it and has only spent $1 billion on 20 Lexuses that all pretty much do the same stuff that my Lamborghini does, except go super fast, which is still a car. So who's gonna go super fast in it anyway, right? So at that point, if we're looking just based on the numbers, Mark made a better deal than I did because we both have 2 things that do the same thing pretty much, right?
Get you from point A to point B.
Right. So if we're looking at Disney and Netflix, they're both streaming services. Disney is pretty much saying that we're only going to spend $1 billion next year on original content. They're banking that because they have so much content that we all know and love, either animated or television-wise, the Marvel, all the Marvel films, at least the recent ones. I don't know how far that goes back.
Pretty like 10 years back.
Do they own all from Spider-Man or?
No, Spider-Man is still Sony technically, the old ones.
I thought Spider-Man was Fox. Who did Spider-Man?
Sony.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they bought some shit back from Fox, didn't they?
I think they're trying to buy back X-Men. But X-Men is Fox.
Right. So pretty much
nerds.
Yeah. The last 10 years of all the Marvel movies that have gotten all the acclaims, the acclaim and fanfare and shit like that, right? They're gonna have all that you can watch whenever, however you want. They have all the old animated movies, fucking Lion King, Aladdin, both Aladdins, Beauty and the Beast, so on and so forth, and things like that. And every piece of content that they've made and created that has been shows as well, which I don't know all Disney shows, but I'm assuming Boy Meets World.
Everything on ABC.
Even Stevens, like all that stuff, right? Everything on ABC. Like, we're not even going to add into the stuff they own currently, which is
Yeah.
ESPN and shit like that. We're just going strictly on the content that they can put on the streaming service currently. At what point does this seem like Netflix has a chance in hell?
Not very. They're doing what Amazon does to like local mom and pop sellers.
Disney or
Basically-
Netflix?
Disney.
Disney,
Disney.
okay.
So what Amazon does is they see a product that is doing really well, put it on their shop, and then once it's doing well, they find a way to reproduce it.
Right.
They set it at a way lower cost, and what they do is they're not making a profit on it. They're just eating that shit, right?
Right.
And basically bleeding out the other business to where they can't keep up with those prices, so they just go out of business.
Right.
They become the only one. They jack up the price, and now you're paying.
And then that's how they make their profit.
Yeah, so that's what Disney's doing. So they keep they keep spinning the story of like, hey, we're not going to spend that much. You get access to all this stuff, and you pay this low price. While Netflix already dug its hole with all this original content, they have to keep it up.
Right.
That's what people expect of them, and yeah, they might just get bled out.
So let's just start from here. Do you think Netflix will survive into 2025?
Yeah, I think they will.
I'm gonna say no.
No, not even until 2025.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna say if we're going just strictly off of content, I don't know what, because these streaming wars is also affecting every other platform that we're not talking about, right? So the two big ones right now are Netflix and now about to be Disney, right?
Right.
Disney Plus. But we still haven't mentioned Amazon. We have not talked about Hulu. There's one more, or there's a couple more. I don't know fucking. Those are the main ones.
Yeah, those are the main ones. Okay,
Right. So Amazon has been trying to dip their toe in, ever so slightly with their original content and things like that. And then Hulu is Hulu. So Hulu has a lot of big shows that is exclusive to Hulu. Like, I mean, I believe only Seinfeld is on Hulu. Like, you can't watch it anywhere else. At least I think Seinfeld is on Hulu and shit like that. But also they have their own original content as well. So we get to the point now where Netflix's appeal in the beginning was you can watch all these shows that you used to watch back in the day all in one place. And you can pay at that point, I think it was $7.99 or whatever.
Yeah.
To get all this stuff, and then you would get movies and things like that, and so on and so forth. Now we're at the point where you have someone, which I believe their biggest library on Netflix was Disney.
Was it?
Yeah, like I think most of the shit they had on there that you would at least because Disney had to pay them a lot. I remember to get the shit back from that they owed. I mean that they had from them. So they bought all their shit back. And then it's pretty much like, you guys will deal with whatever you're going to deal with from us because we're going to create. Basically, Disney just waited, watched them make the model, and then they were like, all right, we're going to buy all this shit back and then just do it ourselves. Which, like Mark said...
It's smart because when you have the money, you could do that.
You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Which is smart, like Mark said, because they pretty much just waited until this became valuable.
Yeah.
Because at first Netflix was an innovator, but it wasn't valuable because Netflix has been around for a while, but now there's so much emphasis on content and stuff like that now it's becoming like, ooh, like, what is Netflix going to drop and things like that. Yeah. And now, of course, when you get the appeal of having like, Will Smith do a movie on Netflix. You have Sandra Bullock do a movie on Netflix. Now you have all these people. Now Netflix is winning, or at least they're being nominated for Oscars and shit like that. Now it's like, okay, this is becoming something.
Yep.
Now Disney's like, oh, you know what? Wait a minute. So we can, not only can we outspend these motherfuckers, because we can. Mm-hmm. Not only do they have our content, which we're going to get back anyway. Not only do we own the Marvel library, at least the most recent Marvel library. So all the stuff that is making all these millions and billions of dollars, we own that. So you can watch Black Panther 8 million times on our service. We don't care.
Breaking records and shit.
Right. We're also going to be able to do the same exact thing they're doing with these movies and pay these actors and actresses significantly less than what I would assume a going rate would be if they did an actual theatrical release, right? Because when it comes to a theatrical release, there's studios behind it because they have to make a certain profit, and you want to put the actors that you want to put in,
like distributors and all that shit.
It's all this shit that they're just cutting all that shit out. Like, we'll just do it, right? I just don't see how Netflix can survive, because at this point they're banking on that their original content is going to be the thing that's going to bring you back to Netflix. At least not at this price point. There's no way. I'm not going to pay $13 for Orange is the New Black. I don't give a fuck about Orange is the New Black. I'm not going to pay $13 for fucking what the fuck is on? Like, and they do great documentaries and things like that. Like I believe the Fire Festival one was on Netflix. At least the best one. Making a Murder. Like, all that shit is on Netflix, which is all dope. Which I have to finish the second season of that, because it was getting slow in the beginning. It was taking too long. Anyway, Stranger Things and things like that. Like, there's stuff obviously I watch on Netflix, right?
Right.
But after that, the thing I feel like Netflix has created, which is going to be the thing that also is going to kill them, is the one thing that we have today with streaming is we have the ability to binge watch, which Netflix pretty much created, right? Because back in the day, let's talk about how old we are, right, guys? Let's get nerdy. All right, so back in the day, if you guys wanted to watch a show and shit like that, right? So if you wanted to watch, let's say, me and Mark are big Scrubs fans, right?
Yep.
So I believe we both caught Scrubs. We didn't catch it when it was like on ABC and things like that, because that was network television, and we're kids.
We didn't even know the show existed.
Yeah, we didn't, right? We caught it from the reruns on Comedy Central.
Yep.
Right? So then Comedy Central plays reruns, and this show was hilarious, right? But now, of course, when we catch it, it's not in order, right? It's like, which is something that they did, which is, I don't know if that was like the plan, but it's also very genius, because I don't think a lot of networks started to do that until after shit like that. But, like, for example, The Simpsons are on their, like 28th or whatever season, right? Every time you would see Simpsons episodes, it would never be in order.
It'd just be a random ass episode.
It would be a random ass episode. So if you're someone who didn't watch The Simpsons, you have no idea what the fuck's going on, right? But if you're someone like us who grew up with it, you don't care, because you've seen all these episodes anyway, right? But with Scrubs, of course, now we're older and our comprehension skills are way better. We're like, okay, what the fuck is going on in this show, right? So for us, we like it because it's funny. So we're like, okay, I want to watch this from the beginning. But how? At that point, there wasn't a Netflix. There wasn't, like, DVDs and stuff were way more expensive for, like, a box set.
Oh, hell yeah.
They were like $30-$40 for one season.
That was like the original binge watch.
Right,
you have to buy the seasons and box
You have to buy the season and shit like that, right? So this is going back to what was that movie place in the mall, in the Lakewood Mall?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I forgot. I used to walk in there all the time and never buy shit.
It was like,
and it went out of business.
It was Pacific something, right? It was
Pacific Coast.
Yeah, Pacific Coast, whatever. Yeah. But they would have all the shows like in one section, so you would just go and see all that shit, right?
Fuck, we're old, man. That was like before Amazon, before all that shit.
Before all that shit, right?
Damn.
But we are still in our 20s, people, so don't think we're that old. For people wondering, how old are you guys? So all these things are happening. So at this point, this is when torrents become really popular. So torrenting back in the day was, now you guys, like, it's called streaming now, but that was like the original streaming, because it was peer-to-peer, which it would be some person in fucking podunk-ass Iowa or far-ass, like, Antarctica or whatever, would upload or had on their hard drive, like, a season of whatever. Some people had the complete box set or whatever, right? So let's just say Scrubs. They'll have the whole 6 seasons of Scrubs, right? Or I think it was 6. Was it 6? Yeah, it was 6, all right? So they'll have those 6 seasons of Scrubs. They'll upload it, and then someone will download it. And then at that point, as long as that person keeps that file on their computer and they're still torrenting, it's also able to it's called seeders, right? So you have more sources to get the file from, so it can download quicker to you. Yeah. Because downloading it from one person who's super far away is going to take a lot more time than downloading it from.
Did you ever seed?
Some things I did. Because I was a member of a wrestling torrent place.
Oh, okay.
That, like, they had like all this shit that you would want. And then, like, one of the rules were, like, you can't, they called it hit and run, but you can't hit and run, which is, like, you can't download and then delete.
That's what I used to do. I used to stop the seed right away.
Right, no. If it was, like, shit that was, like, I found on my own, like, Pirate Bay and shit like that, we're getting into it, guys. The Pirate Bay, but now it's not as good. But the Pirate Bay, ISO Hunt, There was a bunch.
Those were just the sites. You also have to get like a specific torrent browser that you like.
Yeah, I was a big BitTorrent guy. Some people like uTorrent.
I like uTorrent.
I wasn't a big fan of uTorrent. I like BitTorrent. So you had to do all those things, right? And so pretty much when it came to seeding, if like let's just say the Scrubs complete season or whatever had like 500 seaters, that meant that the download was going to be way quicker, right? Especially if you had a DSL at that point. We're not even at we're not even at cable yet, guys.
Damn.
So it would be like fucking 4-6 gigs, whatever. So you'd have to watch that download, and then it would download, and then you would have every season of Scrubs. And that was how we used to trade or whatever, like fucking series and shit like that, right? And then all at once, Netflix came and it was like, boom, fuck this shit. I don't need to waste space on my hard drive and shit like that anymore. I don't have to put my computer through these horrible possible virus attacks and spyware and all this bullshit and everything like that, right?
Never happened to me.
It happened to me once, but I was able to get it off. So
actually, no, someone did something on my computer. I got that porn virus.
Oh, you're nasty.
It wasn't me.
Yeah,
I wasn't me because I never downloaded porn.
Manny, we caught you.
That shit was funny. One day, like, mom was using the computer, and I just hear, like, I was in the kitchen, I just hear, like, Mom! And I go in there, I'm like, what the fuck? And, like, there's just, like, this pop-up, and, like, these two people doing it. I was just like, what is this? I was like, I don't know, it's a virus.
I didn't do it.
I didn't fucking do it. I really didn't do it. I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not stupid enough to download porn. It's called streaming. Back then, they were still, like, you could just stream shit. You didn't have to download nothing.
Wait, okay.
That was the days of RedTube.
Back up then. What came first? Netflix streaming or porn streaming?
Porn streaming. Porn starts everything.
So porn started it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like
hot
this
take.
whole virtual reality shit started in porn.
Hot take. Porn started streaming. Because he's correct. Because Mark was the one who put me on RedTube, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
look at these people fucking.
Like, of course, back in our day, you would just stay up and, like, look at the Girls Going Wild commercials, and sometimes if you were lucky, people, they would play a little bit of the episode or whatever, right? Especially on Comedy Central, which no one knew this shit.
And then on the Oxygen Network, which doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah,
Softcore porn.
Softcore was awesome on Oxygen. Like, fuck it. All right, we were young, dumb, and full of so much cum. But yeah, Oxygen would play the softcore shit. Also, if you had cable, Showtime, no, not Showtime, Cinemax and HBO, would play it too. But you would have to be all sneaky about it. Yeah. So back in the day, it's like to get your because your hormones are racing to get your whole nudie fix, you could stay up and watch Comedy Central. So after like around 2 or 3, they stopped playing like stand-up shit or whatever show they were playing.
Right?
It was just infomercials. And then at a point, it would switch from that to like they would just play like random Girls Gone Wild episodes or videos or whatever, but they wouldn't show you like the titties and shit.
It'd be like a star.
Yeah, they'll blur it out, but it would actually be like a little preview of like the movie. It'd be 30 minutes or whatever. You'd be like, oh shit, I'm watching this. Like this is cool, of course. So your little 12-year-old self is in there like, ooh, my penis is hard.
We were very technical back when we were 12 years old.
Ooh, look at Bethany from Florida. I like you, Bethany. But
she wants to have fun.
Yeah, so then Mark was like, oh, no, you don't have to do that. Like, there's this site called RedTube where it's like a whole bunch of porn. I was like, what?
I was the bad influence.
Mark was the bad influence. But
you were such a good kid.
But, so then that started my porn life, and that ruined my life. It was all downhill from there. So that was, dang, porn did start streaming.
No, I've seen this. I saw this, I don't know what it was, but it was like randomly on TV, and I just gotten cable, so I don't know what the fuck channel I was on, but it was this documentary basically saying like porn pushes technology forward. And it makes sense, like all those hypatic suits, which is basically like, think of like if you like wear a game controller, but it's a suit, like a spandex suit.
Right.
So when you're in the game, you could feel like the wind, or if someone's touching you, could feel on your shoulder, whatever. Basically, shit like that was invented for porn, so that when you're watching porn, it feels like the person's touching you and shit.
Isn't it funny that the one thing that brings like all nations together is sex?
Pretty much what all wars are fought over.
It's all sex. It's like we don't really care about anything else. Like what pushes technology forward? Not saving mankind or the cure for AIDS or cancer, which we already have anyway. But whatever. Not all that stuff. What pushes humanity forward? I'm trying to get this nut off without being annoyed by my partner. So can I make this as close as possible to being the real thing? And they're like, you know what? He's right. Let's push it forward and things like that. But dang, like also, do you think like porn probably started like MMO like games, like massive?
Yeah, I used to play one at school. It's like you would. I forgot who found it, who showed me, but it was basically like you pretend to be like you get this girl and like you do all the like girlfriend stuff, and then the goal of the game is you would win once you finally have sex with the girl.
Wowzers!
Yeah,
we're awful people. But going back to the whole Netflix thing, I still don't see how. Unless now wait, I just got thought of an idea.
But then like in the middle it's 3 X's in Netflix. Yeah.
No, they add an adult little add-on.
Yeah.
That you pay $20 a month.
You know what'd be dope of them if they make it look like you're going to the curtain room in those old video stores like Blockbusters.
Yeah. And then it's like, want to see more? And then like
are you 18?
It goes. It has to be authentic to it. Like as soon as you go into like that side of Netflix, it has to turn like your screen has kind of turned dark.
No matter where you are.
No matter where you are, fucking like little music starts to play like.
Here's your pizza, lady. Did someone order a pizza?
Did someone order this dick? I mean,
line.
Yeah.
What's
pizza,
the line again?
Pizza. But I still don't see how they can survive just off original content because at that point, then it's like.
The only reason I say it's 2025 because I'm pretty sure they have stuff in the works way past 2025, and they have shows that people are loyal to. They're gonna keep paying, so they're watching it. Because a lot of people don't know about it, like the free ways you can still watch stuff.
Yeah.
But so they're gonna do it because for the most part, everyone just wants that convenience of like, I just pay this shit. I could watch it on my phone. I could watch it on my TV. I could watch it on my tablet. I'll probably just end up paying for both.
See, this is going back to what I was talking about with Disney, at least on the previous podcast when I said that they have the ability to, because they own ESPN, they own ABC, they own so many things and entities that they can literally have kind of what Amazon tries to do right now. Mm-hmm. So Amazon, at least if you have like a Fire TV or Fire Stick or whatever, right? They have these options where you can like buy these fights and watch them on the actual device, right? So you don't have to go like into your cable or satellite provider or whatever, right? So the thing about Disney Plus, which is going to be very interesting, is Disney Plus. Disney owns ESPN. ESPN has a deal with like the UFC for all their pay-per-views and their fights, right? So basically, I believe almost every, if not every day, I know every week UFC showcases a fight on ESPN, but it's on ESPN's app, which is like the ESPN Plus or whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
Now just imagine with Disney Plus, because it's all under the same umbrella. Now you can completely take away the ability to have to even, you can use all that under the same app. So you can watch these fights in the Disney Plus app. You can watch ESPN.
If they're smart, they'll do that. But what I think they'll do is basically just have a carbon copy of Netflix, but with just Disney stuff and their stuff. Because they right now they have ESPN Plus,
right? Which
they keep separate,
right?
So I don't think they're gonna combine everything.
But see, that's the thing where. So let's get into content and let's get into actually why it's important to own your content and things like that. For situations just like this, Disney has the power because they own all this shit that they can come and go as they please, pretty much. Yeah. Anything that fails, they can just stop it. Anything anything that that works, which is Netflix. Obviously, we just talked about. We outlined that Netflix was something that was innovative. Then Disney's kind of sat back and was like, all right, we're gonna get some money from selling them our, the rights to our stuff to use it, and then we're just gonna buy it back once we figure out our model, how we're gonna do this shit, which is what they did. They have the ability to do that with almost anything, right? So this is why I feel like they should at least test it with something. I don't know if it's ABC, I don't know if it's ESPN, but they should definitely, because that's the next step of these streaming services. It's how can we combine them into shit that these companies own already. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
with the Fire TV and stuff like that, right? And like having Amazon Prime and all that stuff. Amazon's next move is they have to be able to integrate all this stuff onto a device where it's like it's seamless, like every action. It's like, okay, I could go on this same device, which is on my television or hooked up to my television. I can fucking shop. I can control all my devices, whether it be the Alexas or whatever. I can watch this show that I love on here, or I can just watch TV, which is going back to what we talked about last or a couple podcasts ago with the whole streaming wars turned to the console wars. That was something do you remember when Xbox was making the Xbox One? A big thing that they were banking on, they were like, okay, you won't have to disconnect your Xbox at all. We're going to basically make ports to where you can connect your cable or satellite box to your Xbox so that you can basically control your cable or satellite, whatever. You can control your television through your Xbox, which is genius. It just didn't work how it was supposed to work.
Because no one wants to take the time to figure out how to put everything. They're just like, you might as well just switch back and forth.
Also, they also just didn't prepare for that. No one's gonna really do cable and satellite anymore. Like, everyone just does streaming
apps.
services.
It was just
and
apps,
shit like that, right? So that's something that was innovative, and it was like, okay, that's smart. Because they were like, we don't want you to disconnect this. We want you to use this as much as possible. Yeah. That's going to be the next thing for this. Because I'm like...
Well, doesn't Amazon already do that?
That's what I'm saying. Amazon is the one that's leading it right now.
Right.
But Disney has the ability, because they have so much stuff and so many things that they own, that they can trump Amazon.
So you think they're going to come out with their own, like, Disney stick or whatever?
Well, they will. They definitely will. There's, like, they're going to. Like, the only thing that Disney can't do is they don't have Amazon, which is, you can't buy shit from Disney. Like, but besides that, there isn't anything that Amazon can do that Disney can't do. Like,
right. If they decide to do that, I don't see them doing that just because, like, why? For what reason?
Be the big dog out here, man. Take over. Be the big dog. If you want to.
Because it seems like they could just make that deal with Amazon or whoever to put their apps on there and then just don't have to spend as much making like manufacturing costs.
Right.
Pretty much trying to take over another company. It's just like while they're already taking over Netflix kind of. So for what?
See, that's my question. That's the thing where if it was me personally, if I'm the one in control of Disney, I wouldn't because I wouldn't care. But there's also the things that we never really understand about business, or we don't know the underlying reasons why they do certain things. Because obviously these people are paid millions of dollars, or in Disney's case, that I think their CEO is paid like a shitload of money because they can foresee shit that's gonna happen before it happens, right? So I believe the CEO for Disney, he got like this ridiculous raise because he was the one who said, we're going to push forward with Black Panther, and that's going to be the leading thing we're going to do this year. Like, all our resources and shit will be put into that, and that's going to be the thing that's going to take us. And he was right. Like, this is years before, and this shit was just getting developed. He was like, no, this is going to be the thing. Trust me. Like, and a lot of people are like, all right, so all black superhero movie, black cast. I don't think so, man. And then, look, he rolled the dice, nigga was right. Made a cool Billy off that, and didn't even have to. He wanted nothing interfered. He was like, let them handle this movie. Like, he's like, if everything has to be black, it's gonna be all black, and I don't care. Like, because this is what's moving forward. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna push for, and things like that. He had the wherewithal to think like that, which a lot of people didn't have the wherewithal to do. So he got. That's why he gets.
Well, people that were able to, weren't able to.
Like, that's why he gets paid the money he gets paid, because he has these ideas and thoughts that this is what's going to be the next new thing and everything. It's the same thing that Steve Jobs and shit got paid for it because he didn't care about the devices. He cared about what the device was going to be used for and how can we make shit better in the world, right? That was at least that's from what people reading about him now. That was his big thing. It wasn't like, oh, the iPhone's gonna be this great little phone. He didn't want it to be a phone. He wanted the iPhone to be everything. So that's something to where people like Netflix, I don't think they had the wherewithal when they were just making the service to think about that, because now they put themselves into a hole where their biggest draws to the service are shows that, because they created binge watching, they no longer have the ability to be able to profit off that other than the first week. You know what I mean? Because, like, say Stranger Things comes out. For me, when I watch Stranger Things, I usually watch it all within that first week, which is, if it's a weekend, I'm not doing anything. Saturday, I'll probably watch however many episodes. If it's 13, I'll watch a good 6 to 7 Saturday and then finish up Sunday. Especially if it's good, you're going to want to stay anyway. You're not going to want to be like, all right, okay, guys, I'll watch one episode today. I'll come back next Saturday. And, like, why? For what? You know what I mean? Like, so to me, I'm like, what do you make? What is the profit off that when everyone usually watches these things the first week it comes out?
Some shows are weekly now.
Right, which is because that was the reason, though, because they weren't getting any fucking return on investment on that shit. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing where I feel like, but it's too late. It's too late to switch a model.
Does Netflix make money that way though?
How? So that's a good question. How do they make money now?
I think it's just subscriptions.
Right. So,
and I think they air shit overseas, like on certain channels.
Right. So going back to what I was saying, if now which is going to be your biggest competitor, is coming out with something that's significantly cheaper, and it has a lot of the content that you were banking on and people were paying for your service anyway
to keep watching. Yeah, that's why they spend so much money on keeping Friends in the office.
Right. It's like, what is going to stop them from being like, because it's the same thing like console wars, same thing like wrestling, right? So back in the day when it came to consoles, we all grew up with certain consoles. I was a Sega dude. I don't know if you were Nintendo or
Sega, Nintendo, both.
Yeah, so like I was strictly Sega. I didn't have any Nintendo anything. But when I saw the PlayStation 1, so the PS1, I was like, oh shit, I need to have that. But it wasn't like neglect my Sega. It was just like, no, I'll just buy a PS1 and still have my Sega. Then of course Sega became obsolete, so now you just have a PlayStation, right? And then so on and so forth. That's what happens. It's like, of course, they're going to buy Disney Plus because of the price point and the reasons to buy it. Then at that point, it's like that first year is going to be like the whole decision point of, okay, how do we keep them from canceling us completely?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't see what Netflix can do to keep people besides what they've been doing, which is trying to buy other people's content to use on their shit. But now, if you have all these places like, or these companies like Disney and whoever, who's like, you know what, there's value in our content. Why are we giving this shit to Netflix when we can do this?
More money off
we can do the same thing and make more money off of it. Also try to figure out how does that work for like on-demand services too, and like HBO Go, right?
I want to say it's just the numbers. Like, it's the subscription fees, which they get paid constantly no matter what. If you're coming back and watching it, no matter what, you're still paying it.
Right.
For the show. And then just the numbers that they could boost for the shows themselves, and then they could sell ad time based on that.
Because that's also something, too, with, like, I believe, I don't know, Netflix doesn't do ads, but I know Hulu does ads. I don't know if Amazon Prime does ads when they have their shit.
Well, I'm not talking about just commercials. I'm talking about like product placement ads and shit, which is basically like, we're in this apocalypse, but let's find this brand new 2020 Honda. And then like they have the logo shot or like the computer they use, an Apple or Windows or Surface.
Right, I get that, but also I feel like there's more money into the commercials because now they're catered specifically to your taste when it comes to these streaming services, right? So it's like, for example, I have DirecTV Now. One thing that happens on DirecTV Now, depending on like if you can, if you watch a show like I watch This Is Us on DirecTV Now, and I'll watch the episodes on there. And one thing that happens is it comes with commercials. I can't skip them which sucks, but whatever. Hopefully they'll add a fucking function you can skip those shits. But you can't skip them. So what happens is they will literally base these commercials just off of the shit that you watch, and also like anything that's connected to that actual app. So the app is on my Fire TV. So like they'll show me they'll show me car commercials. They'll show me shit about KFC because I'm black, which they have, which is hilarious. I'll literally be eating KFC, and then a KFC commercial will come up like 7 different times. I'm like, all right, guys, I get it. You saw me. You went. You know, my phone's on. You know, I went there. You can smell the chicken, bastards. But they'll do all that, and then with the hope that somehow I'm gonna be like enticed to do something or whatever. But whatever, right? Yeah. It's the same thing for shit like this when it comes to a Netflix and things like that. They don't have that opportunity because they don't do ads. So I'm like, that's another thing. I'm like, what money do you? At a point, your bottom dollar has to, like, what is the profit in this shit? Because if you're spending $15 million on original content, what's the return? Because, of course, right now you're winning because there isn't anyone doing what you're doing. You know, Amazon isn't making full-length movies yet, which I don't know if they are or not, but they're at least not to the level of Netflix, everything, so it's different. But now when you have someone like a Disney who is like, no, we can do that and do it better than you, and you know we can do it better than you. Yeah. At that point, I'm like, what? You know, sound the fucking alarm if that's me, because I'm like, okay, what do we do? What do we do now? Just imagine they do the sequel to Black Panther and they put that shit strictly on Disney Plus. Oh yeah, the game's over. Yeah, you can't do shit. A whole bunch of people just buy just to watch that. Like, you can't do shit. And then once you have, you kind of it's on the renewal shit, so you just kind of keep it until like you forget, like, oh, I should go cancel that. But at that point, you've already like gave them another month. Right, or you found something else that makes you want to stay. Exactly. So you're just like, whatever. It's $7. $7 isn't gonna kill me and things like that. But that 13 might kill you. You're like, I don't need this shit for what and everything, and that's just life. And I want to say that I feel like Netflix is doing exactly what Apple did, or they're still doing, which they haven't really realized the importance of it. But we all forget that obviously you guys are listening to us or you're watching us, right? This is a podcast. When we first all got iPhones, Apple had the little podcast app that no one knew what the fuck it was about. Yeah, all the like pre-programmed apps. Right. So they had the podcast app, but podcasts weren't a thing. There was a couple that were on there, but who gonna listen to people talk for what? That's stupid. Like, you know, I can watch people talk or whatever if I want to do that, right? Yeah. Apple basically created that lane. They created it without even caring about it. So then people who now are way bigger, they made podcasts or networks and things like that. They made podcasts that people decided, I don't have time to watch these people, or I don't have the ability to watch these people during a daily basis, or like, you know, be visible because I'm at work or whatever, but I can listen to them and I can agree and do all the other shit and like enjoy the content. Apple at no point never gave 2 fucks about podcasts. It's clear because they put all their money into music. They put all their money into fucking Apple Music and all this other streaming products, yeah, like the phone and shit, all that stuff, right? So now it's hilarious to see that podcasts are huge, and Apple should own, like, they should own everything about podcasts, because they were the ones who were like, hey, like, you can, hey, this phone, you can, like, if you guys wanted to create a show and like stream it to the world, you can. I mean, if you wanted to. And it's like pretty much all yours. Yeah, it's all yours, right? So they should have a piece of that, but they don't, because they never took it serious and they never cared. They cared about everything else, which is the products, like you said. So now, fast forward, you have other streaming services that have now come about: Tidal, Spotify, what's another audio one? Pandora. All these other streaming services that now they're trying to buy podcasts, and they're trying to get as much podcast content as possible, because now they know, like, holy shit, okay, so if you have like a Joe Rogan who pulls in shitloads of viewers and listeners and shit, right? So if you have a Joe Rogan who pulls in at least 1 million when he drops, it's just the first couple hours. He can pull in 1 million like that easy. Why not have him exclusively on your network? I don't even know where Joe Rogan is. I don't know if I know he's on iTunes. I mean, he's on iTunes. Yeah, I think that's where he is mainly. But I'm like, I don't think he's like, they're not, he's not exclusively to them. You know what I mean? He gets the money from his ads, the ads that they run. Right. So I'm like, at that point, it's gonna become like you have someone like Joe Budden who did the Spotify deal, who was like one of the first people who were gonna be like, you know what? Since people like my content and I'm a person who now, because I control all this stuff, now I have exclusivity. Yeah, I can now sell what I'm doing to the highest bidder.
Yep.
And I can control what I want to put out, and nothing has to change, right?
Yeah.
So what's gonna stop someone like a Joe Rogan being like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this with my own shit because it's me doing it anyway. Or it's like Spotify offers him 20 mil to do a year's worth of what? To talk? That's it? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, Apple now they're in this fucking shit. Like, they're in this like weird little position now because now
are they even doing anything?
They're not. That's the thing, and it's like all these people who you had at one point, because we all start, at least for the most part, because no one knew any better. We all started with Apple. Now you have this thing now where people like a Jake and Amir with the whole how do I that's us, holy shit. That's us. If I were you, they stole. All right, they knew we were coming. No, but you have a Jake and Amir with the whole if I were you, who were strictly an Apple podcast, and then we're like, you know what, screw it, we can do this our own network, and now they have their own complete network with their own shows and everything like that. Yeah. And you have people, like I said, like a Joe Budden who was on Apple and then left because Apple didn't want to play ball. They didn't really care. And then now he has I believe the #1 podcast
on Spotify.
On Spotify, and also like he easily pulls in 1 million his first day as well. So you get to that point where it's like your own ego screwed up because you thought you were making these people like popular. You thought, oh no, they're listening to them because they're on an Apple product or they're on an Apple app.
Right.
That's why. And it's like, no, it's bullshit. They're listening because like this is a fan base. Like these people follow them wherever. And now you get to the point like what is even on the podcast charts for iTunes? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that you can't find anywhere else.
If you wanted to, yeah.
Exactly.
But still, the most convenient way is to listen to it on your
phone. But now,
phone.
because you have like a Spotify and things like that, now they basically do the same thing. It's all an app, like So that's where Apple they screwed up, and I feel like Netflix is going in the same direction where they just were like, oh no, we're Netflix. Like we
oh right, like people are gonna be here no matter what.
No matter what, they're gonna be here, and then now you have these people who are coming in through the woodwork, and it's like, all right. Everything that they do wrong, we're not gonna do. And you know what? So fuck. They just they keep bumping up their price points and everything. Let's keep ours here and things like that. And they're gonna keep adding more services to their products. At that point, now you're the one who started everything, but now you're the most expensive guy on the block. Why would I come to you for what? You can't even do what half these other ones do. And you have less than the other ones.
So wait, how do you stop from becoming that then? How do you stop from becoming like what you were set out to destroy, basically? Because basically they're becoming Blockbuster,
right?
And they're getting taken down. So
I believe, like I said, you have to adapt with the times, and you have to be able to really, which is hard because whoever is in charge of whatever, they pretty much you follow them, but you have to be able to see, like, being a CEO or being a boss, people think it's all, like, glitz and glamour and all. I just tell people what to do and I can fire and hire. No, it's way more when it comes to actual, like, corporations and, like, when you have people, like, the guy who's running Netflix currently, he has so many people's lives in his hand. Because if that shit does fall, which I feel like it's gonna fall soon, everyone's out of a job. And then also you don't want to have the stigma of being like, oh, you worked for Netflix? They died. Like, why?
And it was your fault.
Yeah, like, why the fuck I'm going to hire you? Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Like, there's things like that. Like, you have to have the wherewithal to be able to stay ahead of the curve. And
I would say it's hard, though, like, when you have, like, a business model or whatever, and it's making money, and it's constantly making money, and it's, like, year after year after decade. It's hard for that person that was in charge to be like, all right, let's listen to these people that haven't been here as long as me, but
Right.
like, what's their idea? Oh, this and that. Nah, like that's not gonna work. Mine's been proven. I'm gonna keep doing that.
And we have a bunch of stories like that from other places that we've tried to lend
Oh yeah,
our foresight to, and
what happened. But
but it goes back to just a lot of people. Like I said, it's hard. It's hard being a boss because
right, but then that's why that story you told about Black Panther earlier was like why it was so crazy because this
Right.
guy was like it had never been or it had been done on a way smaller scale
Right.
So when he was doing all that shit, people were probably like, "What the fuck? Like this dude's gonna lose all this money over a stunt, probably, and blah blah blah." And like, what happened. Like it wasn't a surprise to us. Like from the places we were, it wasn't a surprise. Yeah. It was just a surprise to like all these other people that just live outside this world.
Yeah. Funny story. It's not funny. It's actually very sad. But you never noticed that people say funny stories shit don't be funny at all. It'd be like the worst shit ever.
It'd just be like, here, come listen to this sad story. You can't say that. You got to be like, hey, listen to this funny story where I cry.
And everything was horrible. But way before this podcast, right? Me, Mark, and the mystery third man, which I still won't tell you guys about until we get to a certain point.
Get that sponsored.
But we had a different podcast, right? So this is when podcasts were early. Right.
We'll release those one day.
Huh?
We'll release those one day.
Yeah, one day, because I still have a lot of the audio and the episodes from that podcast. But it was something to where it was on the scale of this, because we're actually doing way better with this. But it was something that people did like, and it was something that we had literally just we had shitty equipment. We didn't have any of this stuff.
One mic that we all surrounded.
Yeah, we had one mic we all surrounded, and then we were able to get like different mics and shit like that. But then still, it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
But for what it was, it was good, right? So we, being at that point, how old are we? Like 22, 23?
Yeah, we were still like early college.
Yeah, we were still in college. We were trying to pitch the idea of podcasts to another entity. I'm not going to name or anything like that, but the entity now is they're doing fine or whatever. But
or whatever. Yeah.
They're doing fine. We tried to pitch the idea of podcasts, and we kept telling them that, hey, the radio and things like that, it's dying. It's antiquated. Like no one cares. No one cares about what DJs play. No one cares about the hot new whatever. Who gives a fuck? Everything, all right? Yeah. Everything that is hot now is created on the internet. Like I have the ability. I'm like me personally, I don't even listen to the radio. I'm like I can literally get in my car and I can choose what songs I want to hear all day. I don't have
what songs, what podcasts, whatever.
I'm like, so why are you why are you still trying to follow this model that doesn't work? Clearly it's not going to work, and clearly you'll see eventually that it's going to fall. So we were like, hey, what you guys could do is do a podcast. Make the show a podcast. Make it to where it's something that you can listen to over and over and over again, and then it'll actually be better for you guys and better for the actual brand, because it's something to where it's not like a radio show where most radio shit doesn't even live on. Unless someone's recording it, right?
And probably only in your car. Like, where else do they have, like, still boom boxes just playing the radio?
Exactly, right? So, unless you're in your car, you're one of those weird people who have, like the iHeart Media app for some reason. Like, I don't know why you have that.
Hey, man, that's the biggest plan.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Shout out to them niggas.
For real.
As I just
we'll be a podcast on there.
Yeah. If you give us money to be a podcast, well, I'll suck a dick. But as long as we're not there,
God damn it, stop offering to suck someone's dick. You do that everywhere we go.
I'm just trying to let people know.
I'll do it, all right?
I will have sex for money. But we were pretty much saying like, hey, cut out the middleman. You guys already have a well-renowned brand. You guys already do so much for people. Cut out the middleman. Just create this network. Be the leading, show on the network, and then make everyone else come after that. They can pay for a slot or whatever, and blah blah blah. Long story less long, the person in charge was like, yeah, I get what you guys are saying, but I just like the radio. I like that vision. That's what I feel like is something that works. We were like, cool. Eventually, we had some differences, creative differences, and then we ended up leaving. But fast forward to today, that entity does a podcast. And I believe they push the podcast more than anything else.
Really?
That they, at least from what I've seen.
I don't even look them up anymore.
Well, I'm like, it's on the timeline, so I see it. I'm like, okay. That's something to where, me and him chuckle about it because it's like you're about 4 years too late.
Yeah.
And you could have just did it when we were saying to do it, and that's something like, again, but like I say, it's hard being a boss because if you know something works, if I tell Mark every day, I'm like, hey Mark, man, we work out. I'm like, yeah, those lifts you do, they're good. They're gonna get you big and strong. He's like, yeah, I feel big, I feel strong, I look good, cool. But if I tell him one day, I'm like, hey Mark, you gotta switch it up. If you switch it up, you'll actually get even stronger and look even better because muscle confusion and shit like that. You're gonna be like, no, this has been working.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep doing this because this has been working. Well, why do I switch it up, right? That's kind of how people are in that position. When they obviously, if you've done a certain thing to where you've created a whole platform for yourself, doing it this way, it's very hard for someone to be like, okay, this works, but if you go this way, if you make a left instead of a right, what you want to do, you can actually make a lot more out of this than just being like just another platform out there. So it's hard, but that I would say would be the biggest thing for someone to try to avoid that, which is you have to listen to people who know more than you, listen to people who are younger than you, listen to people who are actually out there doing the shit, because you might be renowned or well known for being this person and having your pulse on the finger of whatever the fuck, or finger on the pulse, whatever, finger on the pulse of whatever the fuck is going on, right? But that doesn't mean we all get older, right?
You get older, you lose touch because your priorities shift like crazy.
They shift.
You get a family, focus on that, and you no longer have time to see what's on TV or what's going on in music and crap like that. Right. So you listen to these younger people. You hire these younger people to tell you hey, what's going on. Hopefully you come across the person that's like, hey, no, this is about to happen. Yeah, you can just capitalize on it.
You need to switch over or whatever. I'm like, for me personally, I can't stand that fucking Lil Nas X Old Town Road song, right? I think it's a real dumbass song, but I respect his hustle and I respect how he scammed all these fucking white folks into giving him all this money, right? Which is awesome, cool, good for him. However, I'm a person who I don't understand it. I don't understand why
people like it.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I'm supposed to then turn around to someone who's younger than me and be like,
you shouldn't like it either.
You shouldn't like it. This is stupid. Listen to what I'm listening to because I'm older than them, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like what happens with a lot of these companies. I feel like they just kind of get stuck in their ways. If I go back to wrestling, Vince McMahon, right? The WWE/F, if you were older. They've had their lowest ratings for like the past 2 years. Like it's been a constant drop. And when you watch
with all the people they've added,
a constant drop.
Wow.
So even when you watch and read about it, it's like, oh, they're gonna try this and they're doing this and they're doing that, and it's like they refuse to realize that what's wrong is it's not that the product isn't what's wrong. What's wrong is you have someone who's very old still in charge of the product.
Yeah.
And they refuse to give it up because they feel like they know what's right. That's wrong. Because you can't.
Because then you have the diehard fans like yourself that they see it, they're like, oh, this story again,
right?
Oh, this fight again. I've seen this a whole bunch of times throughout the. And then if the older person's not telling the younger generation man, this is the shit, and showing them when they're young,
right?
Young kids aren't gonna care about that crap, and they're not gonna tune in.
I can't I grew up on Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock, and all that shit, right?
The Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era. So I grew up in that era. So for me, that's a big era. But these kids currently, they don't know that era, right? So it's I can't redo that era for them because they won't get it. They'll be like, okay, why is this person telling me to suck something? Why is this girl why does this girl have her whole ass and titties out? What is going on? Whatever, right? But what I can do is I can listen to these kids and be like, okay, what do you actually like? Oh, these kids like a lot of kids like anime. A lot of kids like, shit that's like fucking obviously Marvel and superheroes and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So why don't I cater my product to being more like fast paced and quick and more moves
Let's
and everything.
have an anime
like
wrestler. Let's have a
or something like that.
Like a hero wrestler.
Yeah, let's have these out of the box characters because these people like it. Like I think people know now that wrestling is fake. So like
what?
No, it's not. But it's not. But whatever. It's another story.
Just to be clear,
yeah,
it's not.
It's not. But I already understand that. But it's like let's go down that road. Let's. They understand that it's an act. We understand that they understand it's an act. But we can't take that back. It's already been ruined. So what we can do is we can make them be invested in these characters. That's what we have to do. Instead of trying to be like, let's fucking, there's an evil plumber. We'll call him Toilet Bowl. Toilet Bowl Johnson. Like, what? Like, who the fuck? Who makes this shit up? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how old are you? Like, whatever, right? But it's like, okay, if I know that a billion people just watch the Avengers and it's all like those movies and shit like that, everything today is still wrestling, right? The heel, which is Thanos, the first part of it, he beat all the good guys. People are going to come back because they want to see the heel, which is Thanos, lose. That's modern wrestling. Good guy, bad guy, right? Now the whole story is, okay, all these people are invested in these characters because now they've seen these movies and they're all like, holy shit, there's Iron Man, there's Spider-Man, there's Captain America, Black Widow, whoever the fuck, right? They're all invested in these characters. How we want to see how they're going to beat this guy. Or if they're gonna beat this guy, because let's fucking try to suspend disbelief. They're not gonna win, right? So it's like that's what makes people show up. The same thing about stuff like this when it comes to these networks and platforms and things like that. You can't keep redoing the same shit. Eventually, people know it's like, okay, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, you're trying to do this, right? Yeah. Me and Mark can't come up here and give you guys the same podcast every week. What we can do is we can give you guys the same general idea. You guys know that we're going to talk about something.
We're gonna bring a porn somehow.
Porn, a couple of jerk off jokes, some racist shit. I'm gonna say nigga maybe like 7 times.
I'm gonna want to say it, but don't. One day maybe.
One day maybe.
One day I get punched.
We're gonna end up, making references to like going somewhere super deep and whatever, and then the show ends.
We already mentioned porn.
Yeah, I know. But you caught it. They didn't catch it. But that's pretty much like the outline of the show. For people who think like, what's the outline? The whole thing is there isn't an outline. We freestyle this shit, right? We don't come in like, I made the whole joke earlier about pre-production. There's no fucking pre-production.
That's why I was super scared when he mentioned my name. Because I was like, oh no, he found out something I did.
Literally what we do is we come in from work and we're like, all right, you got a topic? Yeah, I got a topic. Okay, cool.
Hope no planes go over our head right now.
Hope no planes go over us, but the mics turn on and then we just start riffing. That's what we do, right? Okay. So that's our formula, though. I'm not telling people who aren't us to do that, though, because
I wouldn't recommend it. Because it's like that's us.
Yeah, it's us.
If you're not being yourself, then people could tell.
Right. It's like we've been doing this as friends forever. Like this is.
Which I've told some of you, people that are like, how do you guys do this? I'm like, well, we've been doing this since the garage.
Yeah, like we've been friends for now over 20 plus years. So it's like I can legit come in the house and be like, you know what I hate? I hate when girls be trying to walk like they got ass. And then Mark would be like, yeah, I don't like that either because blah, blah, blah. And then now we have a whole hour conversation that went from ass to somehow went to anime, went to wrestling, went to boxing, went to we hate our jobs, and then went to, all right, we should probably go do a hot take.
And then to, what the hell were we talking about in the beginning of this?
Oh, yeah, it was ass. Like, but that's
basically last week's episode.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Which, hey, one of my favorites. I don't care. I like that episode. But I guess that's the big thing when it comes to you guys as creatives and creators and this whole thing about content. Like, everyone tries to put this big stress on content and everything like that. And it's because of things like this whole streaming war that's about to happen and things like that. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if your content's good, bad, indifferent, if you don't invoke any emotions or anything like that, right? What matters is whatever you're creating, A, you're consistent, and B, you have an idea of what you want to show people, right? So we like to, basically our whole thing is we're two dudes who just shoot the shit. And you guys seem to like it because you guys have you guys think like us a little bit, right? So you guys
You're a little
watch
crazy like us, right?
You guys a little off
You're
like
little
us.
tilted.
So we don't like to see the world how we feel like a lot of people see it. We see it kind of through different colored lenses, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you guys listen to us because you guys also see the world kind of different too. When you guys want different opinions and perspectives on different shit, right? So we try to kind of bring you our perspective on it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if we don't be consistent with what we're doing currently, you guys aren't going to care. Not to mention, if we don't always give you guys something fresh and new, you're not going to care. If I can talk about wrestling for like a whole year, I'd be fine with it. But for you guys, like, okay, what else?
Like, get on with it.
Yeah, what else? What else can you tell us, right? So that's why for us, we talk about different shit every week and things like that. If you're not willing to adapt with what's going on, I feel like any company, whether it be fucking Netflix to any fucking little rinky-dink ass company that's in your city or town or whatever, they are unwilling to adapt to what's going on. They feel like, you know what? No, this is us. We do this, and they're gonna come to us for this or whatever. That's the stupidest model you can have.
The only thing I think of like real world, like physical, would be like coal. Like people that stuck with like digging up coal, and like it used to be like the shit. Like yeah of course, because it was the new thing. But now they want to stick to that and don't want to convert to like clean energy, like the stuff that's gonna make money.
Right.
The new kid, basically. Then they're gonna die, and like those people that don't learn how to work in those industries, I mean, they're gonna lose everything, which sucks. But
yeah, like at the end of the day, I feel like all these streaming services and things like that are just the way the world works in general these days. Is you have to be uncomfortable. I mean, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the biggest thing. Like, you know, for people who want to do what we do, it's quite easy. You know, buy a camera.
You should if we ever do release those like first episodes that we ever did of like our first podcast and crap, you're gonna tell the difference of like how we're timid. We'd probably talk like super quiet to the mic because we didn't want to.
I distinctly remember the first episode of the first podcast we ever did. Not this one. This is a way back when we were still in college and shit. Yeah. It took us, I want to say, maybe 45 minutes to an hour to do the intro.
Yeah, just because we kept fucking and we're like, how should we say it? Should we do it like this? This one right here, first episode, we're like, all right, fuck it. That's why I intro it so short, because it's like, fuck it to the point, get to the topics, and then we'll start talking. Whatever.
The outro you guys hear every week, I freestyled that.
We did.
During the episode. I was just like, all right, I have to end it. I'm going to end it like this. Cool. And it's been like that ever since. Like, so for people who's like, oh, what's their blueprint? Or how do you do this? Or how do you guys come up with all this shit? We don't know. Mark does drugs.
Damn.
You know?
just a little heroin. Jeez.
Just a little bit of little needle. That's it. A little needle.
Fun fact, last 2 episodes have been high. That's why I've been talking a little bit more.
Out of his mind, right? But yeah, Mark does drugs. I don't get a lot of sleep. So we just come in here and just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so... And that's what you get.
Oh man, that just reminded me of that night we had to stay up in our old apartment. We had rats, and we stayed up all fucking night because it was in my room, and he just stayed up with me.
Right.
But
I'm a real one.
Yeah, that shit.
I will not leave a soldier behind.
If we could have recorded those conversations, because that shit got loopy, man.
Yeah, it was like, I think I came home maybe like 12 or 1, and we didn't go to sleep till probably like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And it was just the conversations we were having were just ridiculous. Like,
so dope.
And it was just every hour, Mark would go and check in his room. He's like, "Fuck, I don't see it. I don't know." And I'd be like, "I don't know, man. You don't want to go to sleep with a rat in your room. Like, it's not cool." Like,
because before, I wouldn't say like a week before, something like that, I woke up with one on my shoulder.
Yeah,
that shit was gross.
Mark was spooning with a rat. He didn't like it, so
it was just dirty, man.
But shout out to the East.
We eventually did catch the rat. Like, I devised this plan, whatever, caught it, and then the shit we did after
will not be talked about on this podcast. So let's get to the plugs.
It got dark.
Let's get to the plugs. Mark, hit them with the plugs.
You can find us on youtube.com/howdoiknowyou.
Boom.
Our Instagram, HDIKY1. Our Twitter, How Do I Know You 1. My personal one, you could find me at Mr. Lucky 005 across everything.
And my Instagram is DC Junior BFSB. That's B as in boy, F as in Frank, S B as in boy. I'm
Could have
not
used actual words.
yeah.
Been fresh since birth, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's too late for that.
It's too late. I already said it. I'm not on there a lot, but like I said, if you at me, I will respond. But you gotta at me. If you don't at me, I don't care. If you tell him or some shit, I don't care.
Need them analytics.
Need the analytics, boy. Also follow me on Twitter, which is what I'm on the most. That's at DC Junior 13. You can see me usually complain about the train in the morning, or talk about some shit, or joke around with this motherfucker or somebody. What else? I think I had one more. Oh, also update guys on the whole the race to 500. 500. Somehow I hope we can add some reverb to that. It can sound better than what I just did. But currently we're at, I want to say 319 or 320.
320, yeah.
320 subscribers, right? So
all thanks to you guys, man. You guys made that little push at the end. I was just like,
so we're almost at our target of 500. Obviously, like we've been saying every week, once we get to 500 subs, that's 500 subs, we will go to a streaming service. We don't know which one yet. I'm thinking, we're both kind of thinking, maybe we put up for vote and you guys tell us where to go, but then also that gives y'all control, and I don't really like that too much.
it's our stuff.
It's our shit. Like I just said, our content, we control it, right? But I don't know.
I'll put it across everywhere.
Yeah, we'll see what people come up with. But if you guys can continue to subscribe, share the podcast, share the hot takes, share the hot takes on YouTube as well. Just share our stuff. We appreciate it. We love you guys. We do this shit for y'all. Because honestly, we could do other stuff because we know we're talented.
Workout Wednesday.
Just suck our own dicks at the end of it. You know, just it's big. I just want you guys to know that. Also, yeah, like Mark just said, check out the Workout Wednesdays. We're on episode 2 now. I believe that was that was leg day. Yeah. We've been getting good feedback on that. You guys seem to like it, which is cool. Hopefully we inspire you guys to not only get in the gym, but also not give a fuck about what people think.
Yeah, people start us a lot when I'm filming. It's
okay.
Yeah, I don't care either. It's just like, we'll say something. Say something then.
Bitch ass nigga. Other than that, like I always say, if I don't know and you don't know,
who really knows?
Come on, man.
I'm a little high.
26 episodes. 26 episodes, and you blank on your one part
I
of the
didn't blank. I just didn't hear you until like 10 seconds later. Why is he saying it so slow?
I don't get it. Then how do I know you? Let's go. See you guys next week. Hopefully some more cool shit happens. Go Disney.